I'm here with Heidi Wakeman. Heidi has the dubious, or not actually not so dubious because it was very heartfelt, distinction of being the first crier on Good Morning Gloucester. In your interview way back when you were out on the sidewalk cutting up a sale for Frida at Again and Again Sales, and I'm like, what? This is such a Gloucester moment. I drove past you in my pickup truck and I wheeled around. And you were part of the first series I think I had ever done, way back in I think 2008 or 2009. Why I Love Gloucester, and you just broke down. You started thinking about all these awesome things, and you broke down. You, If anyone has passion for this city, it's you. You have a bike pin on,
I do.
And you have a new blog, and they all kind of dovetail together. Explain the bike pin, and explain your new blog.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I started a new blog called Man at the Wheel Cycling, and it's to combine my love of Gloucester, my love of cycling, and to be a positive web presence for city and cycling matters. So I figured who better to talk to than Joe at Good Morning Gloucester.
Yeah. Well, you're using Blogger, which is a great format. And I'm just scrolling through what you have right now. You have a great video with Steve Winslow, who is that what actual is his title?
Steve works for the city. He is a grant.
He's a grant writer, but he's a fitness and stuff like that.
He's connected. I met Steve through the Get Fit Gloucester grant, which is a state grant of Mass in Motion. So many communities throughout the Commonwealth are getting dollars to improve fitness, health, and wellness overall of their populations through backyard growers. It benefits from that. The bike paths are part of that. Newell Stadium is part of that as well. So Steve is a grant
guru. I will say this. Every time I do an interview, and whenever like his name pops up, it's always associated with something really awesome.
Yeah. And
the guy is
again,
amazing.
it's positive, and many people benefit from the grants that are being administered. So
the blog is very bike centric. You're a biker. Your family has history in the bike business in Gloucester, and this feels to me like a clearinghouse for bike related information. And like, what types of bike information are you looking to disseminate and talk about on your blog?
What I'm looking for is anything that people have to share with me and with the wider community about commuting in Gloucester, mountain biking in Gloucester, the cyclocross race that happens every fall in Gloucester, safe routes to schools if students are riding their bikes to school. This would be a place where people could share information, but also maybe there's a really great trail that they want to let people know about, or I just took a great road ride out to the end of Wingershik Beach with my husband on Sunday, and it was so beautiful that we are very lucky to live in a place where we can road ride, mountain bike ride, cyclocross ride, and then go to the beach or the quarries at the end of the day.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
You were part of the team that brought the bike lanes, right? And the bike lanes are just another thing, in my opinion, to make our place a cooler place. Some people are, in this town, like there's certain things like no good deed goes unpunished. So some people have issues with it. I can't understand what the issues are. I think it can only be a benefit, but much like the Harbor Walk, people find it fault with that. So why don't you explain to me how the bike lanes came to be, and why you were part of the people that brought it. Why are they better? Why, you can explain it better than me. Why are they beneficial?
Sure. So I live off of Hart Street, and it's very close to downtown. As many of you know, it's challenging to drive downtown, and you get stuck in traffic when you want to go to Fiesta, when you want to go to City Hall, when you want to go to the library to do downtown errands. And riding a bike can often feel very vulnerable in Gloucester because although the streets are wide, there is a lot of traffic and people drive rather quickly in their cars. A bike lane does not guarantee safety, but a bike lane does create awareness for motorists and cyclists alike. My feeling is that communities that have bike lanes encourage cycling, especially for those trips of a mile or less. The Get Fit Gloucester grant is about reducing obesity. There is a climate change crisis going on in the world that cycling can solve in its small way a lot of these issues that we're struggling with, not only here in Gloucester, but around our country. So my feeling is that bike lanes...
You mean by less emissions, right?
By less emissions, healthier people, healthier planet.
Is it? Do you have any statistics? Like, isn't there one of the countries like Amsterdam or something? What's that country where like the bikes outnumber the people? Do you know? Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Well, in the city of Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, there are, I believe, 500,000 bikes in the city itself. And I don't know what the population is, but I have visited and it felt like home because bikes were such a part of their community. Moms, dads, kids, families, old people, fancy people ride bikes as a way of life. And I understand and respect that not everybody feels comfortable riding a bike, but when there are lanes and guidance, in particular at Flanagan Square, it's a very tricky intersection, it can feel unsafe, it can feel like you're risking your life to ride a bike, and if there's signage and sort of a way to navigate for you as a cyclist while not being on the sidewalk, which you shouldn't be on the sidewalk as a cyclist anyways, you might feel like, oh, there's a place for me too. I really believe in sharing the road. I'm not against cars. I'm not for cyclists only. I drove my car to get to this interview. But I do believe that riding a bike is good for the community and it's good for people.
Are you familiar with the in Boston where they have these things set up where you take the bike and it goes into like a locked space like somewhere else? I forget what the name of it was.
They're hubways.
Hubways, yeah.
And New York City has city bikes. These bike sharing programs are all over the country.
Amazing.
They are amazing.
Such a cool thing, right?
Very cool.
Like say you're in the Back Bay, because I stayed in town a couple of weeks ago with my daughters, and right outside of the hotel there's this, it's like a lineup of 10, what's it called, Hubway? Hubway bikes.
Yeah.
And they're locked, and you put like I don't know if it's a swipe card. I forget how it works.
You can join and have a membership, or you can do a one-time rental.
Yeah, and then you go like someplace you'll know where they are, or somewhere else. And I'm sure there's probably some app like on your iPhone that you know exactly where to drop it off in Cambridge or something like that.
Yeah, and all over the city, and they're very user-friendly bikes. So you can see people in skirts and suits wearing them. People that haven't ridden in bikes in a long time feel a little more comfortable in them. They're very solid and sturdy to navigate potholes and varying levels of the road surface. In fact, Steve Winslow and I met in Boston and rode around with some bike people from Mass Bike, from the city of Boston, to look at their strategies and challenges with bike lanes. So there was a lot of foresight in this process. We went before the city council, we went before O&A to present the benefits of bike lanes. And again, I will say they don't keep accidents from ever happening, but
awareness.
They create awareness. Yeah. Another thing we did was create signs for bike routes around to help people navigate around Maplewood Avenue to avoid the rotary. You will sometimes see cyclists in the rotary, and it's very dangerous. And if there's signage, if someone is coming from out of town, they can safely go around the Cape and follow signs for around the Cape Loop, up Maplewood, up Cherry Street, back onto Washington Street, and do that safely.
Before we get any further, we didn't even mention what the name of it. We want people to find your blog.
Sure.
So the name is
Man at the Wheel Cycling, and you can find it at manatthewheel.blogspot.com.
There you go. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's
I should have brought that up right in the beginning,
No problem.
I'll make sure I put a link in the show notes for this.
Terrific.
There's different. It seems like every 10 years or so, there's a different trend in types of biking that is popular. One time it might be mountain biking, 10 or 20 years ago, and then it goes to I see these cool bikes that they're like the beach kind of riders that you kind of sit upright and they have the handlebars, or you're not slouched over and stuff. What's like the trendy bike right now?
I mean, I think you'll see a lot of people on fixed gears or single speed bikes, which can have a variety of handlebars. A lot of them are dropped bars, but that's sort of the hipster bike. Yeah. It's one gear, there's no brakes.
No brakes?
No brakes.
Zero brakes?
In a fixed gear, you don't have a brake.
How the fuck? How do you stop? You put your feet out?
You.
Do you do back pedal? The back thing. Well, that's a brake though. It's just a.
It's not a coaster brake though.
Oh right. Okay.
I don't ride one. I'm a little conservative, only in my biking.
Right.
But I would say those are popular, but also beach cruisers are popular.
Do those have gears?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And for me, I like the simplicity of a single speed. So if you see me in town, I might be on an old beater bike. It's nothing fancy, but it's upright. It's comfortable. It has a bag on the back to put my things in, and around Gloucester, you'll see all kinds of cycling.
I love the idea of the beach cruiser, but with speeds, because I'd be exhausted. I think because in Gloucester, it's I think these beach cruisers became popular probably in places like Florida where everything's flat.
Sure. And
obviously we have serious hills.
Yes, we do.
I'd be gassed going up
It's hard. It's more of a workout if you don't have gears.
Right.
And I think that if you're riding on the road, you want to probably stay away from knobby tires, because even though you might think, oh, it's potholes or lumpy surface, I need knobby tires, but if you think about a race car or cars, they're not knobby tires, right? They're on the road, so smoother tires actually will work better. So a hybrid, which has gears, might have a front shock absorber, could be good. It sort of depends on what you want.
Sounds like my kind of bike.
Yeah.
But my kind of bike ends up being, I buy it and I ride it once and it becomes a coat rack. That's my kind of bike. No, but I have an idea for your blog.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I user submitted photos of their babies.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
I want to do it. You get me inspired right now.
Well, I'm hope
totally
that you
inspired.
do it. How about if we go for a ride sometime?
Let's do it. I want to do it. I want to be able to ride my bike from my house in East Gloucester to Niles Beach. That's the perfect ride.
It is the perfect ride.
Right?
It
and
is
I want
a perfect ride.
I want a bike with little saddlebags, so I could not saddlebag. I want
baskets.
Baskets. Wire baskets, so I can put crap in it.
Excellent. I would be happy to.
I want to be able to put a beach chair on there. Cooler. After that, I don't care.
Well, I have actually taken my bike trailer and put boogie boards, beach chairs.
You have a bike trailer?
Yeah.
I want you to put a picture. Can you do this for me? Can you put a picture of your bike with a bike trailer on it?
I can.
So now I'll be very excited to look at it.
I can. Yeah.
All right. What else do we want to talk about before we end up?
Before we end up, I just would like to say that every fall we have a wonderful cyclocross race here at Stage Fort Park. This will be our 16th year, and by our I mean Essex County Velo and Paul Boudreau. He works very hard to organize this race. People come from all over the world.
The world, right.
To race in Gloucester.
Not the country, the world.
The world.
Right. When we go interview those people, they all have funny accents.
Yeah.
And they are coming and spending and loving our community.
And loving our community.
Do you know, I talked to Paul, he was here this past week, and he told me that when they refer to Gloucester, it's one of the 4 international, there's one place in China or Japan or something. There's 4 but big time cities that host this, and Gloucester's one of these. These are not tiny little places that you've never heard of. Right. Gloucester is one of the world looks to this race.
World class. Last summer I hosted 2 young men from Canada and 1 man from Switzerland. And they want to come back every year.
Do they have a maybe you could do this as well. I'm giving you ideas.
I love it, please.
Maybe you could talk to people that are cyclists in the community and say, would you like to be a host for international people?
Yeah, I think that's great. And Essex County Velo is the host of the race, and they also accept volunteers to host racers. And it's a great way to understand the sport of cyclocross, and it's a good way to get to know people and cheer for them. The racing takes place over 2 days, so we are inundated with people who are spending money and enjoying our community. They usually come on Friday and they stay through Sunday night, sometimes through Monday. So it's really a privilege for our community to host this cyclocross race, and Essex County Velo has worked really hard to maintain good relations with the city and with the community.